It is time to finally talk about Miller and Bud Light. I tried my best to avoid this topic at all costs, but we are at a point right now where things are out of control. Every week there is a beer company with a new controversy. I will cover this topic as objectively as possible. Unless you have been asleep all this time, Bud Light is falling on tough times. A few months ago, Bud Light came up with a marketing idea. This idea centered around an ad campaign where they send out beer cans to influential people with their faces printed on the can. The idea itself might sound very simple. However, who they choose to partner with is causing all the outrage. One person who was paid to promote this can of beer with their face on is Dylan Mulvaney. You might be asking yourself why partnering with this person is causing so much controversy. Well, it turns out that this person is transgender. Because Bud Light chose a transgender woman over a cis woman, many decided to boycott the beer altogether. Some feel that traditional women are being replaced. Others think that this is just more woke political pandering. Bud Light made one marketing ploy and managed to anger both sides. One side is angry, claiming Bud Light went too far, and the other feels they are not going far enough. Seeing the controversy, Miller Lite thought now was the perfect time to start their ad campaign. You might be asking yourself what crime Muller committed. They are currently being criticized for their ad representing women. The same thing Bud Light is being criticized for not doing. On the heels of the Bud Light controversy, Miller Lite came out with an ad that many views as problematic. This ad centers around women and how they were among the first to brew beer. In addition to this, Miller also goes after past advertising campaigns. They specifically highlight past beer ads that include women in bikinis. Additionally, Miller Lite also makes a few other promises to women. They state that they will be donating to female brewers. This ad went over as well as you might have expected. People quickly pointed out that this is just more pandering. As most know, beer is a predominantly male drink. This, of course, is not to say that women do not drink beer. There are plenty of women who drink beer, love beer, and even make beer. However, the fact remains that only 9% of women who consumes alcohol say they consume beer. For men, this number is 40%. Due to this demographic, advertising is slanted more toward their most significant consumers. Of course, it does make sense that beer companies want to attract more customers. Since women make up about half the country of America, it is an excellent place to start attracting customers. Although it is natural to try and attract more women, some do not agree with the methods being used. Alienating your existing base to attract new customers is never a good idea. There is a big question to ask though. Why is advertising to women alienating men? Additionally, if you think this latest advert alienates men, do you believe all the adverts with cowboys, football players, and hot girls alienate women? Could this be the reason why only 9% of women consume beer?
I'm dying inside, and all I see are demons. I try to hide all my deepest.
When it comes to the latest controversy involving Miller and Bud Light, there are a few things bothering me. If you do not like these ads, you have the right to hold that opinion. Many states that their disappointment with these brands has nothing to do with sexism or transphobia, and it instead just comes down to keeping politics out of alcohol. I have no right to question or judge you if this is how you feel. However, some criticism I have to question. Let's start with the Bud Light controversy. The main complaint against Bud Light is the hiring of a transgender woman. People view this as the company replacing what they deem a real woman. I have seen plenty of content creators make this argument. Why are you teaming up with transgender women when you can team up with cis women? We hear this all the time. It is not about hating trans women. It is about representing women. Now enters Miller Lite. They release an ad that centers around women. I will now give you one guess as to who is upset with this ad. It is the same people upset with Bud Light. This is the part of the argument I need help understanding. You complain that Bud Light is replacing real women. Miller releases an ad that represents women, and you are angry. This feels like hypocrisy. This means you are upset when there are transgender women in ads and traditional women in ads. You will have to pick a side here. Right now, you are against transgender women and traditional women. Does this mean you want ads only to feature men? When it does feature women, they need to be in bikinis. I do, of course, understand that it is not black and white. Some are making none of these arguments. They are okay with everyone existing in these ads. However, they do not want any political or social messaging. This is entirely fair. Your beer ads should be about beer, and they should not be about representation or social issues or oppression. Wherever you fall in this debate, one thing is clear. These companies are taking a massive hit. Bud Light is losing customers every day. Although some are trying to play this decline down, the aftermath is hard to ignore. There is currently a 24% drop in sales, and many expect the number to keep going down. It is worth pointing out that people forget quickly. There is a significant change that all of this will normalize by the end of the year. For Miller, it is still business as usual. There is some conversation, but it is not currently affecting sales. It should not be affecting sales either. Women drinking beer in clothes should not be a controversy. Ultimately, it will be for the audience to decide how they will react to all of this. If you do not like their current message, you can refrain from consuming their products. This type of ad campaign will always exist. We will see this type of thing happening more and more. However, some companies are learning hard lessons. Bud Light is the perfect example of this. They are currently facing massive financial backlash, and we likely will not see them make any social statements again. Although, with these corporate companies, you never know.